if you're watching this and you haven't watched the episode yet, you just need to stop and go watch the episode and then watch this.
Yeah. So once again, he's like, "Oh, if I can't eat these, let me go stumble over here." And he also seems like he does approve. He does approve of anything that comes out of a wrapping, and regardless of if it comes out of a wrapping is green and is sticky. But I'll eat that. What looks like a spider.
On farms, if you have a domesticated animal that eats chicken eggs, it's not going to be around very long. That's cutting into the profit here. Okay. Now let me give Baby Yoda an out in my humble, nobody really cares opinion. One, he knows how to find an egg. Like, you don't want to be in an Easter egg hunt with this guy because you're gonna come up short. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Two, those little things might be edible, and he scuttles over towards them, but you're like, if it's in an egg and it's in a cave and it seems harmless, I watched a lot of sci-fi, this is going to turn out bad. Now, we don't know this for sure. The spiders, while are not sentient beings, they're not stopping to have a conversation with Frog Lady and Mando.
They are not. They don't care if they speak the same language. They are not going to hotwire your droid so that they can communicate in the same language.
No time for that, because you're on the menu and you better start running.
Right.
And Baby Yoda tries to. Was he sounding the alarm, or was he excited at all the little tinkle, like all the little like shuffling noises? I couldn't tell.
They say that there's different Jedi that are more akin to communicating with animals. I think once he tasted the spider he ate, he was.
And they knew he was a threat.
Yeah. I think it was very Harry Potter-esque. I kind of saw where things were heading.
My daughter said the same thing.
That, but I did not foresee that their mouths would be basically what I think of our garbage disposal to look like
a Sarlacc pit with legs.
Right. Yeah. Not ideal. Not an ideal situation.
They did look like garbage disposals. They also reminded me of something from Stranger Things.
Oh,
just a little bit.
Yeah. A little. Yeah. The dart. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so Baby Yoda gets everybody into trouble with his appetite again, which I don't know where he's putting all of this. And does it ever cross his mind, I might eat something and die from it? Like the toxicity level in a rogue spider egg? I mean,
has not hit him yet. In fact, I'm actually thinking you start thinking like the sheer numbers, the volume of food that we're seeing him take in. Like, how is he still hungry? Okay, pound for pound. Like when they calculate like dietary needs. Yeah, he's not a rodent. You know, it was cooked.
He ate a hole through that. He's not a rodent. I don't know what that means. Are the rodents the green Greedo guys?
I don't know. It sounded derogatory. I just want to point out that it sounded derogatory.
Yeah, it sounded very like implicit bias for sure.
Yeah. So, one thing that
gotta look up a rodent
that certainly seems to be overlooked in this
rodent
this episode.
Greedo.
Guido?
You can't see it.
Okay.
It's Greedo, the green guy that Hans shoots.
Gotcha. He did shoot first, based on what I hear. But
I remember.
It does bring up that as much as we are in sci-fi, there seems to be a lack of calculations of structural integrity. Mando, on his retreat back to the ship, he's willing to blow up all kinds of stuff, regardless of the implications of, like, he's in an ice cave.
Inside his ship.
Oh, and inside his ship. Like, there's being stuff. But on his retreat back to his ship, he is throwing out bombs that he's setting. And it's like disregard for anything. He is burning stuff, and he's starting to realize that his weapons are not working.
This would have been an excellent time to use the jetpack. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, grab the frog lady. You already got the kid. Drag the frog lady if you need to. Jetpack kicks, man. Like, let's go.
And quite frankly, the second time in the episode, the jetpack to be used, there was no, like, I don't know if he was punishing himself on his walk back from being, like, assaulted out in the middle of the desert. Why did he not, like, strap the jetpack on grab the other things and the child, and then fly back.
Well, yeah, it might have a payload limit, and you did have the
I'm
crate
assuming it does.
meat. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a big chunk of crate dragon meat.
Yeah.
Can't leave that behind. The spider chasing, that was really entertaining. I loved it how we saw all the weapons that were coming along. But this is all, the spiders might have attacked if it hadn't been for Baby Yoda eating one of the eggs. And those spiders look like the kind that might eat each other anyway. I just kind of got that vibe from them. Like they were just hungry and there was enough of them that they could eat each other and it'd be fine. And they were all different sizes. So you got different age groups here. This moment of peril in an instant, it turns around and they're cornered inside the cockpit and he's doing everything that he can. And it's like, you don't know if they're going to, that they have to make it because this is chapter 2 of season 2, right? They're going to make it.
But the magnitude of the moment, definitely you see each character get to the point where like, okay, it's fun. And like the child doesn't have that moment of the magnitude of the moment until he has a spider on his head. And then the frog lady who should be like go ahead and like shooting him in the ear.
I accidentally shot him. I didn't mean to. I was aiming at the spider.
She shoots the spider off his head and he does not feel any like gratitude towards her to not continue to consume her frog eggs following that moment.
No, he doesn't. And you know what? Something Baby Yoda's not thinking about? I don't see him chewing. He's sucking these eggs down whole. They could be incubating inside of his digestive tract. He may be a host.
At one point during the episode, I actually thought, okay, she's going to lose the rest of these and he's going to have to regurgitate these and to extend the line is what my thought was, like, because he went up to the chamber and they were drawn towards him because he put his hand up there, like not that he was going to reach through there.
I thought it was a force thing. I thought that was a cool kind of like, I thought it was like a cool kind of like force vibey moment of like identifying with another creature and solidarity.
Like you got metachlorians, I got metachlorians. Yeah. I'm going to eat you because now I have more metachlorians than me.
I mean, that's how calories work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
So then there was at one point in the episode, they finally get back to the cockpit and he is burning these things where they're to close the door. And then he starts to hear like, he hears fire, he hears like pot shots being taken. And I was for a moment, I was thinking, oh man, maybe the other Mandalorians have found him. At that moment.
I thought it was going to be somebody maybe from previous, storylines that was coming in like it was going to be one person.
Right. And little did we know the two, not exactly. What I love about like New Republic pilots, they do not look like your standard flight pilots. Your standard flight pilots looks like they have like about 3% body fat. These guys. You know what? They're taking what they can get as far as those New Republic pilots are going. Apparently,
if you can fly a crop duster, we're putting you in a cockpit.
Oh yeah. So they're out there. What I think is hilarious about them is that this is a classic Western justice moment. Like there's no witnesses here. There's no like camcorders. There's no like spectators like filming with their phones. And they have some frontier justice.
Tombstone justice.
Oh yeah. Where they're out there and they're like, we're willing to, like, nobody likes these spiders, but they're great target practice. Okay. we will shoot at these guys like nobody's business. Okay. But if you think that we're going to get out and help you repair your ship,
negative.
How about we have this conversation with you about, like, you did some good things for I wrote it down. It was Lieutenant.
Yeah, the jailbreak episode.
Lieutenant Davin, as part of the Correctional Corps. You did some nice things for him. We do have a warrant for your arrest. So, like, if our superiors were involved, you might have some consequences. Like, people would read things a different way. You're operating a little sketchy because you're not doing your beacon is not on as much as you might perceive that you're pre-Empire, whatever loophole you have. You're
surplus.
in a town.
Pre-Empire
Surplus. Yeah.
Nice line.
Yeah, and I just think it's very interesting that they're willing to cut him a break because they see, okay, maybe this type of character, these gray area characters, they're doing more good for the overall universe than bad. But I'm not gonna do like. Have you looked at us? We don't exactly look like heavy lifting types that are going to get out there and start doing ship repair for somebody other than our own ship.
We got other people to chase down.
Right. We got a runner. You know, we have to get back out on control and find another patrol to find another runner.
You can't read Mando's. You can kind of read body language. This actor's really good that way. But you can't read his facial expressions. And, it's so much a part of our communication and even with masks these days, it's hard. I smile at people and realize they don't know I'm smiling. Can they see the smile in my eyes? I don't know.
Right.
But I'm like smiling.
I've never been happier to have crow's feet. Now that I have crow's feet, it's fantastic. People can tell that. Oh yeah, he's smiling.
Oh, he's smiling. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he looks old.
Thanks for once again aging us out, Steve. Thanks, man. But I think this points to the redemption story within Mando once again, because he did something that in a split moment he had to decide in season 1. I have to go back and look at the details because I don't exactly. I remember the breaking out of jail, and I remember him not siding with the mercs that he'd kind of fallen in with to do this job. I don't remember the time where he saves the correction officer or whoever it was. But apparently that story got around, and so where the beginning of the last episode starts with the reputation of the bounty hunter, this Mandalorian's always with this baby. And the New Republic, a part of the story too is, hey, this guy in the Razor Crest, like he was part of this break-in, but he helped save one of our guys' lives. Which in this moment now, when he needs the most help, like this is the closest I feel like, besides the big shootout with all the Imperial troops and everything and the IG-88 or whatever, assassin droid. This is like that moment where you think he could die, like his life is on the line, and a moment of choosing compassion and helping someone out and doing the right thing comes back to actually help him, even though he'd made a bad choice earlier on, I think, in running.
Yeah, once again, I think when we like do the off-season stuff where we focus on his reputation, because I think at some point we'll do an episode on his reputation and how that we are known for the things that we do, not the things that we say we do. Along with, I also wanted to mention before we end tonight about that earlier in her communication when she does the droid and she's communicating with him.
Glad you're bringing this up.
References the code, and so when we later on go back and investigate what the code has to say,
mic drop. Sorry,
or is. We will definitely need to come back to that scene and quote her, because she kind of uses the code against him. Is this just hearsay that is stuff for children, or do you actually live up to your word?
Yeah. Do Mandalorians actually live up to their word? Do you actually keep your word? Okay, here is another point in my column for Baby Yoda being aware of his actions, because he turns and when she says that. He understands what she says. He turns and looks at Mando like, oh, bird, what are you going to do about that? Do you remember that moment? He's like, and Mando's like, gets up, and now, he's back on duty and he's on task. Baby Yoda knows what he's doing.
He needs to be looking back at Baby Yoda like, I have said no to you how many times, and you are consuming her
egg-eating turd.
But I don't want to also miss, I don't know how to feel about the very end scene once again.
Okay.
He says, wake me up if, as they're heading out, wake me up if, something blows through that door. Never mind. If something blows through that door, we'll all be dead. And he said, basically,
he's done. He's tired.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And Pod Yoda is looking back at the frog lady. The frog lady clenches her container of precious eggs. Okay. And he has heard this whole exchange. He looks back at the camera, and out of his left hand, he sucks down another egg. Like,
I know.
his
I'm looking
hands
at
are
it right
small.
now.
Yeah. And sucks down another egg. Then he turns to the camera, and it's not lost on me. He winks. He doesn't blink. Okay. His right eye winks at the camera, kind of like, yeah, nobody's going to hold me accountable for any of this. Mando's here sleeping on the job. He's not being a good parent.
Okay. Now, conspiracy theory. What if he actually is saving these eggs and he's not just eating them? What if somehow he is doing something that is force powered and they're all going to die and this little brood of eggs is going to be gone, and the three, it's more. I mean, he's up to half a dozen. It might be more. There's been off-camera times we haven't seen that he's sneaking these little delicacies.
These are the ones
right?
that we know about. Okay,
maybe he's actually like incubating them in his stomach to save them. To save them.
I want to believe.
I don't think so. I think he's a little.
I think you're right.
I think I'm duct taping him to the wall.
Yeah. Well done on that. So, you have any parting thoughts about this being the way?
You know, it comes back to those split-second decisions that we have to make, and we make them out of the moral character and fiber that we already have to work with. If you don't have a creed that you adhere to, you're pulling the basis of your decision making from some point, whether that's to preserve yourself or to help other people or something. You have some type of creed that you're leaning into, whether it's for yourself, for other people, or a mixture of the two. When you have a creed that helps direct your decision making, it doesn't control you. Mando had a choice if he's going to keep his word or not, but when he was held accountable to it, when she put his feet to the fire, he stepped up and said, no, I am going to live by that. I really liked that moment, because I have moments like that in my everyday life, whether it's with temptation, to tell the truth, to do what I should or what I know that I should or shouldn't do. But even this week in conversations I've had with people, well, they're talking about one thing and how they look at life and look at other people and everything. I'm just like thinking, I don't think like that. I'm not going to judge them and condemn them in this moment, but I have a creed that I adhere to where I feel responsible for taking my thoughts captive to Christ, where I feel responsible for living up to a higher, I like to call it integrity, where you have this integrityness that you're determined, because of the creed that I adhere to, I'm going to make a decision that aligns with that, even when it's not in my favor or it highly inconvenienced me. And I feel like when Jesus raises the bar to love God with all you are and your neighbor as yourself, it covers all of the basis. And that's the simplest way of explaining the most complicated way to try to live and navigate life, living in that creed.
But I think it doesn't go unnoticed that there are moments where we all end up relating to Baby Yoda, the child, where it's in those moments of integrity when no one else is looking.
Yeah.
Where we find that we've fallen short. And I'm glad there's grace.
I am too, man.
Because he is like, not once, not twice. I mean, how many times were we told to forgive people? You know, so I think he's getting close to 7 times 70 or something like that. So
he may have eaten that many eggs. I don't know how many there were to start with.
I know. Like, I will go back to what you're saying is, like, she is no accountant. She may know how to rewire a droid's voice box, but as far as like she is not going to be my CPA anytime soon. Okay.
No, not doing the taxes.
Yeah.
No. Well, Steve, this was an interesting one, man. The Passenger. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. I'm a little worried they're going to go to a different storyline, but they have to pick this up from where they left off. But I feel like they did this. I feel like they did this like this little extra kind of cul-de-sac loop with this episode where we got off the storyline and now we are on a detour and now we're diverting back.
So something to think about. Will we get to the estuary moon of Trask and the gas giant Kobalon?
I hope so.
I hope so, because that's the only
Those are
place
hard
that's a
lines to
minimal,
memorize.
only a minimal place for this frog family to continue their line. And I'm really pulling for them, because there are forces they could have not even foreseen. Like there's a one in a universe little child that is actually kind of campaigning against their line continuing. So I
Covertly looking for the covertly eating eggs.
Yeah. Well, I'm Steve, and I have spoken.
And I'm Kenny, and I'm still trying to figure out what is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. We're on it, man. Thanks, Steve.
All right. You have a great week, Kenny.
You too, bro.